Hi, guys. Okay, before we begin, you have to keep in mind a couple of things. Number one thing that I want you to keep in mind is what is known in sales as the rule of yes. The rule of yes basically says that if I can get a potential customer to say yes 3 times to me, then the very next thing I ask them, they will also say yes to. Now, manipulators of all stripes, whether it's politicians or salespeople or whoever, already know this. They know this very well. So they use it to their advantage. How? They get you on board with 3 things that you already agree with. So if you agree that the sky is blue, water's wet, and that today is Monday, then I can get you to agree on the very next thing that I'm going to say. And one of the people that does this amazingly is Candace Owens. Because Candace Owens has stated from the beginning that she is here for truth and transparency. She said that she is here to fight for Charlie Kirk and to find his what actually happened, to uncover the truth. And because she says that a small group of people control the majority of things running in the world and in this country in particular. So if you agree with those 3 things, then it's a lot easier for her to tell you anything else. And then you're just going to go with it because of the rule of yes. So that's the first thing I want you guys to keep in mind. The second thing I want you to keep in mind is that you can absolutely agree with someone on 10 different subjects and still be able to disagree with them on other subjects. So, for example, if I tell you that water's wet and also that today is Friday, you can say, no, I agree that water's wet, but today is absolutely not Friday. Today is Monday. That's okay. You can do that. The third thing I want you to keep in mind is that studies have shown that the majority of people, for a ton of psychological reasons that we won't get into here, prefer to be manipulated. They prefer to be lied to. So if someone is telling them that they're being manipulated, they will fight back harder on that than on the person that's actually manipulating them. I forgot who said it, but the quote goes something like, it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled. And that's always been true. It's not just true like now. The fourth thing that I want you to keep in mind, it's very, very vital before we begin, is that if you are a person who prefers to be lied to, if you are a person who prefers to be manipulated, this video is not for you. So keep scrolling. This video is for people who want to see through the manipulation tactics that are being used against them. That's it. It's not for people that are pro or con or anything else. It's just for people who want to see how they're being manipulated step by step by learning what to look out for and how to apply it in everyday life. So all that being said, today we're going to go through Candace Owens's first episode after her debate with Andrew Wilson. And I'll show you the manipulation tactics that she uses right in your face. Let's get into it. Okay, I gave you your fair warning, so here we go.
All right, you guys, happy Monday. I am extra happy this Monday because of the great debate.
I bet.
Without question, the biggest loser was Erica Kirk, Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, the Turning Point USA organization, more broadly speaking.
I would argue that the greatest losers in this debate were the people that actually wasted 3.5 hours hoping to get something that was relevant or listening to an intelligent, real debate about the issues or the evidence that has been brought forth so far, because we didn't get any.
Could it get any worse?
Exactly.
But I was trained to debate by Charlie Kirk.
Okay, if Charlie Kirk trained you, he didn't do a very good job. When people are debating, they actually have to let the other person ask the question or make their point or whatever it is. What that was a jumbled mess of Candace Owens not wanting to answer questions because she thought she was being entrapped and just talking over Andrew the whole time. Now, I'm not a fan of Andrew. I'm not a fan of his at all. Okay? I think that him repeating the same questions over and over again and not knowing how to pivot and ask the same question in a different way shows maybe that he wasn't ready for this debate. However, I think the whole thing was BS from start to finish. And if you haven't seen that video, you can click somewhere up here and watch that video for yourself. But let's continue.
How dare they send me Andrew Wilson? Oh, she's too afraid to debate me.
Why would they send you Andrew Wilson? Because you agreed to it.
I am not in any way exaggerating when I say that I have never in my life, amongst friend or foe organizations, dealt with a more unprofessional team than Andrew's team in my entire career, ever, anywhere, leading up to them arriving at my house.
So then why did you agree to it? Oh yeah, that's right.
Andrew Wilson demanded that I publicly negotiate the terms of the agreement on X.
He demanded, you could have just said no. This is called gaslighting. Like, oh my God, is that true? Is that what happened? It's not what happened. She agreed to it. His demands that they do everything on X, she could have just said no, but she didn't. I wonder why.
It was excruciating. Why don't we take this on to email? We could just go back and forth. He's like, no, this must be negotiated publicly, please.
So he demanded, but he said, please. Okay.
And we agreed, of course, that he could also bring a video guy because he was paranoid. We basically folded on everything because I just said, I'm down for this debate.
I bet. You're telling us that you agreed to everything. You're telling us that. So what are you complaining about?
I am provided with no identity as to who I am communicating with. We're basically emailing the quote unquote crucible team. I'm like, who is this? Who am I speaking with? Why is there no name behind the emails? They're just being shady for no reason. It's like a faceless email chain.
Okay, so then why did you agree to it? Again, if I were communicating with someone and they didn't want to tell me who they were, I would assume it's some type of scam and I wouldn't keep going. But you're smart, right, Candace? So like, why would you continue if it was such a disrespectful way of being treated and you were so worried that you were, I don't know, talking to somebody that who knows who they are and this was really a concern of yours, then why'd you agree to it?
Let's just blow up the negotiations. Let's blow up everything that we made you painfully agree to publicly because Joe Rogan will reach more people. We're not going to have you sitting down and deposing me. I actually recommended via email. Again, I said, if you want that to happen, you're going to have to pass the bar and join Brigitte Macron's prosecution team against me.
Give me a break. You have to pass the bar to depose me. Candace, if you felt that you were being deposed, if that's a story that you're giving us, that you felt that you were being deposed, then why would you agree to this? Why didn't you publicly on X say, you know what, I wanted to do this debate, but now I feel like I'm being deposed. So I'm not going to agree to it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do this unless certain parameters are set up. I don't know what sort of parameters you would need. It's a debate. Nobody gets like questions ahead of time. I mean, I've done plenty of debates. I mean, you might get like the moderator is going to send you the questions that are going to be asked, but you don't know the exact questions that they're going to ask you. The whole point of the debate is that you know your stuff well enough to stand on your argument and to prove it. That's it. And if you're not able to defend the claims that you've made, then why would you put yourself in this situation?
He is the one that agreed to all of this publicly, made me do this publicly.
Made me do this publicly? Nobody made you do anything. That's gaslighting. I want you guys to notice this because Candace herself has said plenty about gaslighting.
I said over and over again, I don't mind answering your questions. We're going to be dialoguing. Like you're not sitting me down and questioning me. And I want to make sure we had first and foremost address the case.
Which you guys never did. Nobody there addressed the actual case because you both agreed that everything that was presented in the preliminary hearing was all hearsay. So nobody really addressed anything because you guys used it against each other to prove why the other person shouldn't be thinking what they're thinking. And I'm going to get into this in a little bit. There's a big difference between opinions and claims. So
my kids live here. They homeschool here. And this is something that you just have to respect, but I understand you're paranoid.
If you are so concerned for the safety of your children, Candace, then why would you agree to this? If it was such a danger, if it was so shady, if it was so disrespectful, why would you agree to have Andrew and his team in your home where your children live? It was your house. You had full control over that. You decided that it was okay. What the are you talking about?
Well, sometime on Thursday, my producer is like, it's kind of weird that we don't have a point of contact. We are still dealing with a faceless team. No one has reached out to ask for our address. We also need the names because we have security and we need to know who they're bringing. It's Andrew's number, and he says, reach out to this number, which seemingly belongs to no one. They will not identify themselves. So my producer is now texting an anonymous somebody. We try to run the number to figure out who we're speaking to. It appears to be a burner phone.
Okay. Your producer calls the number and now you're saying that it's seemingly a burner phone. Like, we have no proof of any of this. You're making claims that you provide nothing to lead us to think that it was a burner phone. See, I want you guys to realize that what she's doing is just planting seeds. She says it could be, it seemed like, because the suggestion alone is enough for the majority of people, sadly, to make them agree with it or to implant that into their head. So this is called priming, right? When somebody wants you to think a certain way, they're going to prime you to answer a certain way or to believe something. Priming happens all the time. You guys can Google it, and she's priming you right here. It seemed like a burner phone. So by saying that, she's priming you to believe that this whole thing was shady. But yet again, at any moment, she could have said, you know what? I'm not going to do this debate. I don't feel comfortable. My children live here. I don't know who I'm talking to. And so, no, we're not going to do that. But she didn't. So blaming Andrew or anybody else and their team or whoever it is, TPUSA or whatever, it's a moot point. This is a manipulation tactic. I want you guys to be aware of this.
The person immediately begins getting rude with my producer and insisting, again, this is on Thursday. This is the night before. They're saying they're now going to need an HDMI cable that's going to run out of our studio into the control room.
Oh, an HDMI cable? Like, is that really, like, that's nothing. You guys, I hope you're paying attention.
So they can set up a computer into a camera and live stream. They need access to power, they say. They, being the anonymous people, I don't know who we're speaking to. And I almost lost it. I just went like, this is absurd. They still will not answer who they are bringing. And I said, we have never agreed to allow them to set up a live stream.
Okay, you never agreed to it. Logically, right? We have to understand logically that you did agree to it because it did happen in your home. What is this? What is this show that you're putting on for your audience? Because it seems to me, here we go, my opinion. It seems to me like you are leading your audience further and further away from the truth, not closer to it, because you're blatantly lying about everything. At the end of the day, you agreed to all of this and you allowed it to happen. How do I know? Because it did happen. So what are you even talking about? And Candace has said herself that
when someone demonstrates that they are capable of lying to you, you have a right to take note. Because people can be evil.
So
at no point will they identify who the 4 people are, despite the fact that we asked multiple times in email and via text, who are you bringing into my home where my children lie their head? I just want to say I cannot comprehend how degenerate and disrespectful you have to be to do that. He shows up with Steven Crowder's team. Steven Crowder's producer, CEO, regular on-air talent, feature, who spends all day mean tweeting me. He's actually like the CEO of whatever it is Steven Crowder thinks he does anymore. He's basically a child actor who never stopped being a child actor. He's a 40-year-old man, and he just likes to prank people. And this is exactly his brand of just doing something this disrespectful.
And still, you could have stopped this at any time. Shouldn't you be the one that's protecting your home? Shouldn't you be the one that's protecting your children? I mean, where's your husband? Everybody keeps asking that because it's true. Like, George, seriously, blink twice if you need help. If you're the mother of these children and this is your home and this is where they lie their head, every day sounding more and more like Erica Kirk. And I'm telling you guys, and I told you in the last video, that this is all just a big, bad soap opera between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk. But now Candace Owens is taking on a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of traits that Erica Kirk has already displayed, like all this melodramatic BS, like where my children lie their head and how disrespectful and how can you attack? Like, nobody attacked you. The home is yours. The children are yours. It is your responsibility to take care of those kids and your home. And if you truly felt so disrespected, then why did you let them into your home? What is the point of this? Do you seriously think that your audience is so stupid that they won't be able to see through this? Like, this is all BS. And she does this all the time. And a lot of you guys are falling for it. Not everybody, but I'm just pointing it out to help you see where she does this and where she is manipulating you into a fiction. Let's continue.
That despite me detailing why we wanted no filming outside of this studio and saying, you can film in the studio, Gerald decided to do a live call-in from my kids' playroom just outside the studio. It was one of the reasons we said no smoking. We made it clear to them my children's playroom, which is the garage area, is just outside and you can't smoke cigarettes. Like, all of this was made clear. This was their big plan, is to get views for Steven and to disrespect me.
You could have said no. Why didn't you say no?
This was their big plan, is to get views for Steven and to disrespect me. I still am just amazed that this is something that like grown men would be plotting and planning for clicks and views. It's so disgusting. Like, why would you sneak into someone's house? Why would you try to sneak into someone's house because you want clicks and views, because you don't have the manhood or the decency to...
First of all, let me stop right there. These are called ad hominem attacks, right? When you don't have a legitimate thing to say or to argue against another person, against their ideas or their actions or whatever, then you start personally attacking them. This is a sure sign that the person is losing the argument. I don't particularly like these people. I'm just telling you right now, I'm not a fan of any of these people, Candace Owens included. But why are you attacking this guy's character or what he's too old to do, or why is he sneaking in? Nobody snuck into your house, Candace. No one snuck in there. You let them in. You let them in. And you also did it for clicks and likes. So what are you talking about? This whole thing was on your channel, on YouTube, for you to make money. That's it. And I'll go into the rest of it later, but for you to bring up that somebody else did this debate for clicks and likes while you yourself are doing it for clicks and likes, then this is actual gaslighting. This is actual gaslighting. No one snuck into her house. And if she gave Gerard, or whatever his name is, permission to shoot whatever from her kid's playroom, then why is she now pretending like she had nothing to do with it? And she was like this victim, this whole victim thing between her and Erica Kirk. I cannot. It's like, I'm a victim. I'm being attacked. I'm being attacked. It's your house. How are you being attacked? No one snuck in. What the are you talking about?
Hey, look, you said I could bring 4 people, and I'm going to bring someone that you don't like and someone who's been nasty to you online, but that's my prerogative. I would have said, yeah, you're right. They did not do that. And it was actually in complete violation to what we agreed to.
But then you allowed it to happen. I wonder why.
Just a level of disrespect that I don't think I've ever dealt with. And if it wasn't for me knowingly moving out of this house in a couple of weeks or so, I probably would not want these kinds of people.
You know, this is very interesting. Because for a person who believes that the French Foreign Legion is out to get her, is out to her, she's giving away a lot of information, I think, right? She's like, I'm moving out of my house in a couple of weeks. Why would you give that information out if you truly believed that the French Foreign Legion is after you? Doesn't that seem to you a little bit odd? I'm going to be moving in a few weeks. Like, why would you tell anybody that if you're truly in fear for your life?
Because you just don't have respect for children. One of the terms that I wanted.
You just don't have respect for children? Are you serious? The gaslighting. I hope you guys can see this because it is bonkers.
That I ended up conceding was I wanted Turning Point to claim their horse. I wanted them to say that this is our guy. And he said he didn't want that done. We all knew that he was being sent by Erica and company, but he refused that term and said he had nothing to do with them. And then in the first 3 minutes of the debate, he makes it perfectly clear that Turning Point USA is backing him with this totally awkward, I have a never before seen message wherein he just kind of makes Erica Kirk look like a big fat liar.
Okay, first, before we go into that, this is what I told you guys in the last video. right? This whole thing is really bad theater. And the whole purpose of this debate and all this, Candace Owens now, as far as I can see, between her going against TPUSA and Erica Kirk. Now, you guys know exactly where I stand on Erica Kirk and TPUSA. I think they are full of it. I think that Erica Kirk is a really bad actor. And I think that the whole thing is sus. However, I can also see plainly that Candace Owens is a part of that. Why? Because all of her episodes now, all of her shows always end up going to that same topic. She is not even talking anymore, barely, about the actual Charlie Kirk case. She is more invested. If you guys pay attention, which is the whole purpose of this video, if you pay attention, you will see that a lot of her episodes are dedicated to continuously creating this like Team Candace and Team Erica. And, I'm going against Erica Kirk all the time. This is all for show. This is all for political power. Mark my words. This is all going to come out in the next election. They are both vying for power, and the powerful people behind them are pulling their strings, and they're allowing it to happen for whatever reason. Payoffs, I'm sure. I mean, considering Candace Owens just agreed to get paid off to actually do anything with Andrew Wilson, but she still believed that TPUSA was sending him. I'll get into it later, but for a payoff, I'm assuming. And the whole purpose of that is just to get everybody riled up and to believe once again in the farce of choice. And so when you're focused on, oh, I'm Team Candace or I'm Team Erica, when you're focused on that, you are not focused on the bigger picture. And that is exactly the point. And this continuously pointing out Erica Kirk and Erica Kirk and Erica Kirk on Candace's show proves to me that this is exactly right, because she's continuously fomenting this type of rivalry and I don't know, like conflict where maybe one doesn't really exist. Like, why? In my opinion, it's for political power. It's for a payoff. This is it. These are just actors and they're acting. Enjoy the show, but don't take it seriously because you're being manipulated.
Charlie responded with this. Okay, great. Remind them that they are there for one person's security only, because I'm somewhat worried the left is trying to kill me. That was a message sent September 9th.
But he was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me. He didn't say that. And I have his cell phone.
Days after that is when Erica then came to Nashville and we had this summit. And what she told me, which how Andrew is making a very, very bad mistake here. She said, well, it was on Signal and the team's messages auto delete on Signal. And she didn't know. So I guess Dan Flood didn't tell her.
So she didn't know. So when Erica Kirk actually said that that Charlie Kirk had not been sending messages fearing for his life, that was before the meeting between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk. So right here, Candace Owens is telling us that Erica Kirk said that before she actually knew about the messages. What I'm hearing is that Candace Owens is telling us when Erica Kirk said that statement, she did not yet know that Charlie Kirk had indeed sent messages through Signal. That's what I just heard. You guys correct me in the comments. That's what I just heard.
I guess Andrew Colvat, who was giving messages that he thought was relevant to the police, didn't think to give them a message that said the left is going to kill me. But particularly when we sat down, she was like, have you seen the message? And I said, no.
Okay. So Candace right here is telling us that she didn't see the actual message, right? And from what I remember, you guys correct me in the comments, from what I remember, Candace Owens talked about this through hearsay. It was hearsay. So Colvett, from what I remember, Colvett told Candace Owens, oh, Charlie had been messaging that he was afraid for his life. He told her that. That's hearsay. And right here, Candace is saying that she had never actually seen the messages. Okay, I just want to get that straightened out because what comes after is a bit confusing.
And she said, oh, it said the left and it was on Signal. And I told you guys that was a double lie. She lied again. the message was actually sent on iMessage. Well, Andrew says he's going to be dropping this message because he actually didn't want to show the message for some reason.
Wait, how do you know if you never actually saw the message? Then how do you know it's a lie? You just told us you never actually saw the message. So how do you know it's a lie? Can somebody explain this to me in the comments? Because she's saying that was a double lie. Why is it a double lie? The first thing that Erica Kirk said was not a lie at all. She just, according to Candace, she just was not aware of these messages. And then she sat down with Candace and she said, they talked about it. As far as I can remember right now, I don't have like the perfect, but from what I remember in that whole episode, from the day after Candace and Erica supposedly sat down for a private meeting, after Candace demanded transparency from TPUSA and the feds, she had a private meeting with Erica Kirk. Fine, I'm going to believe that. And then the episode that she did right after that meeting, Candace Owens said that Erica Kirk had not been aware about messages because she didn't realize that, Charlie used different platforms and that some of the messages might have gotten erased. Fine. So then that wasn't a lie. She just didn't know, according to Candace. And then when they had the meeting, Erica Kirk asked her, well, did you see the message? Candace Owens says no. And then Erica Kirk says, well, it said the left. And Candace Owens is now saying, well, that was a lie. Well, how do you know when you didn't see the message? You didn't see the message, so how do you know it was a lie? Because what proof do you have? And again, it's like this is a constant theme with Candace Owens. She makes a ton of claims and provides zero proof to back any of them up. And then she hides behind, that's just my opinion. No, a claim and an opinion are not the same thing. I'm going to get into it later. But right now, I'm a bit confused. And if you guys can clear this out for me, or if you guys see the obvious manipulation and the obvious tangled web of lies that's going on here, please comment in the comment section, because I feel like, am I going nuts? Am I crazy?
If they really had a message that said this, their entire narrative has been the left killed Charlie Kirk. Why wouldn't you share that? Fingers crossed that Andrew, who has promised that he's going to release this on his show because he's got evidence, actually does release that message, which is supposed to be on Signal, but I know for a fact is on iMessage.
How do you know it's on iMessage for a fact? Please explain this to me. When you yourself said that you never saw the message.
This is a strong sign of somebody with narcissistic personality disorder to confidently lie and try to gaslight you. To assert something with such confidence and to keep lying over and over again was just shocking to me.
It shouldn't be, because you do it all the time.
This bizarre strategy of public gaslighting.
Public gaslighting. That's exactly what I would call this. Public gaslighting. The irony is that she's pointing it out on somebody else, but can't see it in herself or won't admit to it. And she thinks that you're so dumb that you won't be able to see it for yourself.
It was very obvious that he did not watch the preliminary hearing, or any hearing for that matter. You're a conspiracy theorist, and it's because of the way that you're looking at evidence. All of his evidence was being derived, which he felt was overwhelming, was being derived from...
Okay, Candace, you are a conspiracy theorist, and you do the exact same thing. You are the queen of this. You and Andrew Wilson are both in the same pot. You guys are doing the exact same things. You both are looking at evidence and seeing what you want to see. You are no better than he is. Do you not understand that? And do you not understand that the more you point that out in anybody else, the more apparent it becomes in you?
Interpreting it however they want it. A blurry image of a white man with brown hair. I think that's Tyler Robinson. Okay. I think that's not Tyler Robinson.
I do not believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. I do not. And I do think that there's a ton of questions that the investigation, it needs to be investigated. The investigation, in my opinion, is sus. Okay? I agree with her there. But I can also see right through her bullshit. Interpreting a video however you want is exactly what you do. And we'll get into that in another episode, because she does this so much. And I'm going to point it out to you guys.
Calls one a fact and the other one a conspiracy theory. This was the whole point of a hearsay. of the Hearsay Utah 1102. And if he had watched how many times they discussed this 1102 rule, it was basically like, yeah, we allow this at this stage, it's probative. He would have understood why I was pointing out this hypocrisy, but he quite literally could not quite grasp that concept in a way that was frustrating for me, and so much that I had to tell him, I can explain it to you, but I cannot understand it for you.
Actually, a better term, Candace, would have been, I can explain it to you, but I can't prove it to you. That's actually what you did in that debate, because you didn't prove anything. You did the exact same thing that Andrew Wilson does. You looked at whatever you saw, and you saw whatever you wanted to see in there. He did it and you do it. That's it. That's all either one of you are doing. It's not that you can't understand it for him. It's that you can't prove it to him.
One side is saying, I infer this. One side is saying, I infer the opposite. And here is the evidence. There is just as much evidence here, the evidence that you say is enough to say that he did it, to say that he was set up as a patsy. I'm trying to prove my claim, but he said, nope, let's go to a new face.
There is not. Oh my God. There is not. That's all I got to say about that.
It was like a term he had just learned yesterday or something. And that term was positive evidence. He just thought that if I keep saying it, people at home will think I'm really smart and intellectual. And frankly, it just came across as bizarre.
She had no positive evidence Israel's involved in anything. No positive evidence that...
Laughing at something... Okay, when you're in a debate or you're talking about anything in a serious matter, when a person starts laughing, this is all passive aggressive bull, right? They laugh because they have nothing else to say. If she understood anything about legalese, she would understand what the term positive evidence means and what exactly he was asking her. But since she doesn't understand what positive evidence means, let me do you a favor, Candace, and explain it to you. So what is positive evidence? Positive evidence is a legal term. The core definition means that the person has direct proof, meaning that they personally eyewitnessed something, or that they have some type of proof, whether it's a video that they themselves recorded, whether it's a voice message that they recorded themselves. It's first person. It's positive evidence. It's got nothing to do with hearsay. It's got nothing to do with somebody told me this happened and I have the text message to prove it. No, a text message that somebody else told you something, that's hearsay. That's not positive evidence. Positive evidence also has an affirmative nature. It affirms that a specific action, event, or state of facts actually occurred. And there's no presumptions. It stands on its own credibility rather than relying on a chain of surrounding circumstances, including hearsay. So, Candace, I hope that this helps you. He was asking you what sort of positive evidence, what sort of first person eyewitness, what did you see? What personally do you have? Whether it's a message, whether it's a video, whether it's a phone call, what do you have to prove your claims? That's it. And you giggling about it just shows how ignorant you are and how utterly passive aggressive you are, and how when you don't have anything else to offer, you always offer like this, like it's just so lame. It is so lame. But I can see right through your bullshit, Candace. I can. And so can a lot of other people. So hopefully that answers the question for you, Candace Owens. That's what Andrew Wilson meant by positive evidence, and you had none.
Positive evidence that France is involved in anything. No positive evidence TPUSA is involved in anything. No positive evidence that Erica Kirk is involved in anything.
Genuinely, like, it was maddening. I just, could you just stop saying that term? You don't need positive evidence for your opinions. You just don't. I think chicken sandwiches are better than cheeseburgers. But what's your positive evidence?
Okay. I don't know if it's that you are so ignorant. I don't know if it's that you truly don't understand the English language, but let me explain something to you, because you are leading your audience into an illogical way of sussing things out or thinking things through, right? There's a big difference between an opinion, a preference, and a claim. When you are making a claim about someone else, that is not an opinion. An opinion is, I think that this is what was going on. I think that they were probably involved. I think, seeing what I'm seeing, that this is what this person is doing in this video. You can think, that's your opinion. Whether you like oatmeal cookies or chocolate ice cream or whatever other nonsense that you're spewing right here, that's just a preference. A preference is not a claim. And you are leading your audience to think, oh, yeah, I have the right to think what I want, and I don't need to have any proof of it. I have opinions all the time, and I don't have to prove it. But you're not making opinions. You're making claims, Candace, and that is the big difference. An opinion is I think. What you are doing is, it seems to me that this is set up and you are leading all of your audience to see things in this same way. That's just manipulation. That's all that is. I can see right through it. And I am hoping that by now, a lot of you can see it too.
How would I have to have positive evidence for me receiving a threat and me taking it to the authorities? Could you imagine if the world worked like that? Like,
it actually does work like that. You do have to have some type of positive evidence to go to the authorities and to say, there's a threat against my life. That's exactly how it actually works, Candace. And the fact that you can't even understand that and why things would need to be like that is mind-boggling to me, because I always thought that you were smart, but maybe I overestimated you. So here's what authorities actually need to investigate a claim that a threat against a person's life has been made. So authorities need specific evidence showing an immediate credible danger before they will open a formal investigation into a threat. The types of evidence needed are direct records like written messages, emails, text messages, or direct social media DMs showing the exact words of a threat. Audio or visual, voicemail recordings, phone call logs with timestamps, or video footage of the incident or person making the threat. Witness accounts, statements from people who heard the threat or saw suspicious behavior near your home or workplace. Pattern of behavior, a history of harassment, stalking, or previous disputes that proves that a person has a reason and a past habit of targeting you. When you write to Tulsi Gabbard's office and you're like, oh, the French Foreign Legion is after me, they are not going to move on it, obviously, because number one, in my opinion, they probably think that you're nuts, and they're not going to spend the time or the effort investigating another one of your wild claims because you've already shown yourself to be, a theorist, a conspiracy theorist, and somebody who's a little bit unhinged. That's my opinion. Number two, you provided no positive evidence. There's no specific intent. There's no direct record. There's no audio or visual. There's no pattern of behavior. There's no witness account. All you have is a text message or an email or whatever of somebody saying that the French Foreign Legion's going after you. So I suppose that if I sent one as well, that you would believe it, and that Tulsi Gabbard's office also has to investigate it. Are you kidding me? That's not how the world works, Candace. We don't just all bow down to your every need, to your every whim, to your every, delusion. We're not going to do that. Serious people are not going to do that. So can you imagine if the world worked like that? Is exactly how the world works, Candace. So yeah. You
receive a threat and someone's like, hey, you should know if this person's plotting to kill you. And you go to the police station and you're like, here's the person who told me this. He's going to kill me. And the police are like, well, what's your positive evidence? Positive evidence. My positive evidence is me coming to you with the evidence that I have and expecting you to investigate it because that's your duty. Yeah, I'm allowed to think what I think about Erica Kirk. I think she's suspicious. And then I remind him, I flip the script and I say, well, what's your positive evidence for you having asserted, as he did before he went to Turning Point USA headquarters in May, he tweeted that he thinks that Erica Kirk is too retarded to kill her husband.
So saying that Erica Kirk is too retarded to kill her husband, I mean, that is definitely an opinion. And like you stated before, you don't need any positive evidence for an opinion. But again, Candace, you are not just giving opinions. You are making claims. And thus far, you have proven nothing. And I will continue with these episodes and I will break down exactly how you haven't proven anything. But let's continue.
It is impossible for me to think that Erica Kirk is not complicit somehow.
Those two thoughts actually don't even follow. How would it be the case that even if Erica Kirk did believe that Tyler Robinson was 100% responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk, let's just say she believed it with every fiber of her being, believed all the evidence, because she did. She just actually did. Would it then follow that somehow she's complicit in his death?
I didn't say complicit in death. You added those two words.
Okay, so what's she complicit in?
Yes.
Look at his face.
Yeah, look at his face. Or answer the question, because you never did. In the debate, you never answered the question. And here again, you didn't answer the question, which, yeah, he added those words because he's slimy or whatever else, or he's trying to entrap you or whatever else you're telling people. But also, why didn't you just answer the question? Because this was a claim that you made. See, Candace, that's how the world works. You make claims, you have to prove them.
Tomorrow, we will be sentencing Turning Point USA to more truth.
Sure you will. Candace Owens accused Andrew Wilson of having been sent to do this debate by TPUSA. She said herself that he was their front guy. She said herself that, in her opinion, he was there to defend Erica Kirk or defend TPUSA. Now, think about this. If she is truly here just to get justice for Charlie Kirk, because she believes that the narrative is not telling us the truth, and she's out here trying to get the truth. And she also believes that TPUSA and Erica Kirk were somehow complicit in anything that had to do with his assassination or subsequent, according to Candace Owens, cover up or anything. Why would she accept money from them? And later on, she's going to say, oh, these people are crazy. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Because at first I said, if I had said that I'm not going to do the debate, then they were like, what? You have to do the debate. And then I do the debate and I take the money. There's another option. That's called a false dichotomy. And I'll go into it later. But I just want you guys to leave with that question. If she's really serious about Charlie Kirk, and he really was such a great friend of hers, and she really does believe that the narrative isn't telling us the whole truth, and she really is here to get justice for Charlie Kirk, then why would she accept even $1 from an organization that she believes is complicit in something, anything that has to do with that assassination? So that's the question I'm going to leave you guys with. And we are going to break down her second episode after the debate with Andrew Wilson, which is her Tuesday debate, on the next video. Let me know in the comments. Correct me if I was wrong about anything, or, shed some light, or let me know what you thought. Let me know what you think. I mean, is Candace Owens the biggest manipulator on social media right now? Has she been able to manipulate the masses and induce psychosis and have everybody chasing their tail around, instead of actually asking relevant questions about the investigation? Because there are plenty of questions, there are plenty of holes that she could be focusing on, but she's not. She's very much, in my opinion, obsessed with just the whole Erica Kirk TPUSA thing. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next vid.